Not everybody makes 10-year-olds cry, but everybody does what he did.
Wow.
We'll get to that later.
No, we'll get to it now. Let's hammer away today. Dan Crenshaw cut off a 10-year-old. I watched the video last night. It looked like they were just like a town hall setting.
Yeah.
Looked like a restaurant or maybe a bar. I know there's footage of it, Bob,
on Twitter. Yeah, it's all over Twitter.
So you can pop that up. But he cut off a 10-year-old, which I thought was odd. It's one of those precocious 10-year-olds where you're like, man, do you know that much at 10?
I was fine with how this went down, to be honest. And I wish somebody had done this to Greta Thunberg.
Toon Bear?
If when she was like, you've stolen my childhood. Like, you're on a private jet, you cunt. Shut the fuck up. Get out of here.
It's a soft H and a soft G in Toon Bear.
Now, when you, like, how are you supposed to react? I guess you could say, hey, honey, hang on a second. Where are your parents? And they're right there like, hey, you guys are fucking idiots. Get her out of here. Fuck you doing? Bring in a child. You don't have the fucking balls to walk up to the microphone and say what you want to say, so you set your kid up to say it? Fuck you.
That's crazy.
God, what a bunch of bitches, man.
Play this clip, Bob.
But he doesn't.
Yeah! Who hasn't heard, Crenshaw said, quote, the most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan, end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith. There's...
You moron.
Look.
Yeah, you don't talk to a kid like that. Boo.
Don't question my faith.
Oh, okay.
You guys can ask questions about all of these things and I will answer them. But don't question my faith.
I can question your faith if this is what you said.
That's... I mean, you can read the quote again. But nowhere in that quote am I saying Jesus is not real. That's a ridiculous statement.
He's the Son of God.
Of course he's the Son of God.
Somebody screamed out, he's the Son of God.
You can say two different things. You can say that
Bob
on the
is
podcast,
losing his
and you
shit
can
over
say this
here.
On the podcast, nobody would have understood it that way. I think you're twisting it that way. Which is not very Christian. Which is not very Christian.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon. They started screaming, let's go, Brandon at Crenshaw, huh?
Thank you.
I'm not going to have my faith questioned.
Well, that seems...
Bob, you lost your mind over there. Why?
That seems like a weird hill to die on, to be honest.
Honestly fully on Crenshaw's side here. Like, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I actually agree with you. Fuck that kid and fuck her parents for sending her up there with that bullshit in the first place. However, the appropriate response would have been, I understand how that might have been confusing. What I actually meant was this. That's how he should have responded. Don't question my faith.
Yeah.
Bah,
that's fair.
I'm a Navy SEAL.
Put a period at the end of Jesus. I was a big fan of that line.
The dumbest part of the whole thing, actually, the number one fuck.
Like, how do you get? How are you a fucking polished politician? And you get trolled by a fucking 10-year-old, and you lose.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
The dumbest motherfucker in the whole thing was actually the dude off camera who's like, "He's the Son of God."
It's like O'Doyle rules.
He's the Son of God. He's the Son of God.
Oh, man. What a fucking imbecile. You know, I get like 15 or 20 DMs a day or messages on, or like people tweeting at me and shit. Like, we should have listened to you about Crenshaw. I'm like, yeah, you should have.
Who was on here the other day? Who had a horrific
Eddie Gallagher. Yeah.
Crenshaw experience.
Yeah. I don't know anybody that has a good experience with him, to be honest.
Well, here's the vibe. So I mean, by the way, this isn't just Dan or Eddie or anybody else, but Twitter has gone all in on this clip. This is trending around the world today, and a lot of people are pointing out, they were like, look, in this district that he's in, he could win this for years and years and years, and I mean, it pays unbelievable.
Maybe he could win it.
Who's going to go against him in this district?
Somebody that's an actual Republican could win.
Potentially. But you know what? Actually,
as long as they could raise money, like a rich.
Yeah, I was going to say. They got to raise money.
The dude that owns that furniture store that always makes the crazy ass bets, he could run in that district and wipe Crenshaw off the map easily.
Crenshaw, by the way, has one of the wildest shaped districts I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it's look at that. It's
they carved it out just for him, buddy. And he wants you to think he's not part of this fucking establishment while he's protecting these assholes that do this shit.
Look at the lines for that up there. I mean that's nuts. The only crazier thing is when I lived in Atlanta, the way Fulton County, the county as a whole, extends itself out like 45 minutes. I'm like, it's fucking nuts, dude. I'm like,
I'm going to do...
It should be split into fours. That's how big it is.
I've just decided I'm going to do a Dan Crenshaw character.
Right? You are?
Eye patch, and I'm going to do the old trope that Robin Williams talked about. I'm going to get a fucking blazer with all of my corporate sponsors on there.
Yeah.
And shit. I'll find out. I have somebody digging into his stock shit right now, actually. We'll find out all that, and I'll just like make political statements. Brought to you by Pfizer. My name's Dan Crenshaw, and I'm a piece of shit. Like, fuck you, dude.
I don't know that much about him.
And people keep asking, why don't you have him on the show? I'm not giving 1 second of my audience's time to this fucking piece of shit, ever. If it was somebody that had a legitimate point, that would be one thing, and I would have him on and debate him, discuss whatever the fuck. But this guy has no point. He's a fucking military officer, and he's going to try to leverage that into a career for himself so he can amass more wealth and power. Because he comes from a rich family, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Dan Crenshaw.
He's a little trust fund bitch.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Look at that.